Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yanira, and thank you for coming. I wrote my speech on the phone because I will forget it. So at the age of 17, I was arrested, and I was sentenced to 3 life sentences plus 26 years to life. Before I was even old enough to truly understand who I was, society and the world told me I would never come home. But I stand here before you today as someone who has served 24 and a half years in state prison and who made it home. Thank you. Coming home wasn't easy. Freedom is beautiful, but it can also be very overwhelming. The biggest obstacle I faced wasn't what people might expect. It wasn't the noise, the traffic, or even technology. It was a sink. You can laugh. I remember going to wash my hands and standing there frustrated. I kept turning handles looking for knobs, but there weren't any. I didn't understand that I had to place my hands under the sensors for the water to come on. Like, who does that, right? But I felt defeated, embarrassed, small. The same thing happened from turning the lever up for the bathtub to the shower. I was so frustrated, I told my sister, I just want to go back to prison. But when I was back in the washing my hands, this young child walked up next to me, and she calmly placed her hands under the faucet and the water started to flow. She looked at me and gently said, "Do this." I told her thank you and explained that there wasn't any sinks where I was. She laughed and said, "Were you in a jungle?" And I said, yes, in many ways I was. Because prison was survival. It was negative, it was violence, it was trauma, it was politics, isolation, and learning how to stay alive physically, emotionally, and mentally. It was a jungle of a different kind. Running out of time. But here's what I've learned. Survival is not the same as living. Today, I'm proud to say I've been home for 10 years. And on June 23rd, thank you. Thank you. And on June 23rd, it will be 11 years of rebuilding, 11 years of growth, 11 years of choosing purpose. And yes, I proudly understand and stand in front of you to say, I now know how to use a censored sink. But more importantly, I understand something deeper. Growth is humbling. Reintegration takes courage, and transformation is possible. Today, I work as a substance use disorder counselor and a program supervisor with Vander. That's my boss. Thank you, I know, I needed that. Sorry. I also work as a youth counselor in a juvenile detention center, and that is my passion. Because growing up in Compton, California, I didn't have someone who looked like me, who understood my story, who I could gravitate towards and get guidance and support. Every counselor or every center, it was in the hood, where the gangs was at, where drugs was at. So now I choose to be that person that kids could gravitate towards. I stand in rooms with young people and children who are angry, who are hurt, misunderstood, and so many times unheard. And I tell them, your worst decision does not have to define your entire life like it did mine. I guide them to make better choices because I know what happens when we don't, as I lived it. My story is not one of perfection, it's one of redemption, of resilience, of second chances. If a 17-year-old who was sentenced to die in prison can come home, rebuild, and serve her community, then transformation is real. And thank you for allowing me to share my story, and thank you for believing that people who are formerly incarcerated can change and make a difference. Thank you.